Why, hello there, everyone. I'm the Kumo Sensei, and, yeah, I'm back. Oops, wrong BGM. Let's actually change this out real quick, shall we? It's this one here. Alrighty. Yep, alright. That should be the right BGM. And there we go. And welcome back, everybody. And sorry for this live stream being a little bit late, but I overslept. That's what happened. I did not expect that, actually. So that's kind of on my part. So I apologize for that, everybody. But welcome back to another live stream. And I'm super tired. I've just woken up. I've woken up late. Cut me some slack. But I hope everybody's doing well. The dentist appointment went pretty well, I guess. But I'm super exhausted. And let's just say a lot has changed since then. Because, man, that dentist appointment, let's say the technology is more advanced. So it went more smoothly than I thought. But I say that as a good thing, though. So, hope everybody understands that. And I do not hear... Hold up. Let me try to fix this real quick. Alrighty. There we go. Sorry, I just gotta fix the background music. It's a bit choppy, so hope that fixes it. And give me a second to wake up because I woke up late and I'm just super exhausted. But welcome to the live stream, and yeah. I did get some new retainers, but I did have to pay out of pocket. Way more expensive than I expected, honestly. Well, a little bit cheaper, but still more expensive than I thought. It used to be more expensive, but now, even though it's still expensive, it's a bit cheaper than it was back then. So I ended up only having to pay around $200 for some new retainers for my dentist appointments. So it could be worse, but I take what I get, I guess. It was a long drive too to get there, by the way. It was out of town essentially, but I find it very interesting though that essentially the technology that was used for that dentist appointment has changed to where it's not. I don't want to say it's like different, but it's so much better. Kids these days would never understand. And that was the biggest shock of it all. Usually what would take like hours ended up being lesser than an hour. Which I was so thankful for because I don't hate the dentist, but sometimes I just want to go home, you know? Especially how I woke up late. Yes, I took a nap and I woke up late. And that's basically what has happened. I was supposed to stream about like 30 to 40 minutes earlier today, but I overslept, put it that way, and I woke up and I forgot that I had a live stream, which is somehow funny because maybe it's because I woke up too early today because I had to go to my dentist appointment to where I had to wake up super early. So I thought that if I took a nap, I could make up for that, you know, that sleep from having to wake up early. Lo and behold, I just woken up and way late than I should be, which is the funny part. But I'm glad I'm here. And I'm glad I'm live streaming a little bit at least. Because I just really wanted to live stream today. Even though I woke up later than I was supposed to. So cut me some slack. But I have learned some things about my dental hygiene. It's still pretty good. Which is the funny part. Because like I used to have a lot of people don't know this, but my dental hygiene used to be very poor as a child. I'll say that, but like that much at least. But now as an adult, my dental hygiene is really good. Better than most people's dental hygiene nowadays. It's really just because I used to be very self-conscious about my teeth because I used to have very not so good looking teeth. But thankfully I got braces, and thankfully I've developed a really good oral hygiene to where you just don't notice it now. Now I smile and you see my teeth basically every single day. It used to be much more worse though. And I say that because it's just pure truth if I'm being completely honest here. You guys don't understand how much like I used to be a completely different person, put it into that perspective. So it was very comforting and very funny how let's just say the dentist say my teeth was very clean and very good in terms of hygiene, which was the complete opposite from like many years ago when I was a child. When I was a child, my dental hygiene was like terrible. It was, let's just say, this is before I had braces and way before I developed really good hygiene. So my I used to get bullied a lot actually because my teeth was so not great. We're not going to talk about that because it's a bit embarrassing to talk about. But luckily I'm thankful to be like in a position to where I can finally smile more often and have really good hygienes. So that's a good thing. And I'm not complaining. I'm just truly thankful. So I actually did like going to the dentist a lot when I was younger because it was usually, I don't know. I know a lot of people hate going to the dentist as a kid. But me as a kid, I love going to the dentist. It was more so of like a chance to actually come out with something improved in terms of dental hygiene. And I remember they used to give me so many samples of like toothpaste, toothbrushes, and basically mouthwash and floss. Like they really wanted me to get my oral hygiene together. It took a while, but after a couple to a few months of like dental appointments, I finally gotten really good dental hygiene. Hello, DeMarco. Like that's what I'm just talking about, honestly. It's just being thankful that I have much better dental hygiene. But like as a child though, my teeth used to be really bad, like terrible. I would even go as far as to say my breath was probably maybe bad as well. So like tying it all back together into today, I went to the dentist not knowing what to expect, and they had to basically take record samples of my teeth, pictures, looking at my teeth, seeing how good it is for new retainers. And they said, "Wow, Sensei, your dental hygiene is pretty good." It's really good. And I was like, yeah, that was such a huge flex, honestly. I gave myself a pat on the back. What makes you doing live so often? So I wouldn't say often is the right word, but it's just that I'm off today from work. I don't work today because today I requested off because I had to do two things: my dentist appointment and then taxes. So really, those were the two things, which is why I requested off today. And one reason why I'm doing more lives is because this year, one of my goals for 2025 is to at least stream once or twice every week. I'm not going to make promises on that, but it is something I want to improve. I want to like improve on by myself. So like, I take promises very seriously. So I don't want to tell my viewers that like I'm going to stream every single week when I'm not, because like if I make a promise, I got to keep it. So really, I'm just trying to do something to myself for self-improvement in terms of live streaming at least once a week. Now, sometimes I may do it randomly. Other times I will tell you ahead of time when I'll live stream. But really for today, I'm streaming today because I'm just free essentially. Because I requested off to do my taxes and dentist appointment. But I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow. If I do stream tomorrow, it's going to be extremely late here in the United States where I am. Maybe like around 10 or 11 p.m. United States Eastern Time tomorrow if I do stream. But it'll be like a random late night stream. But really, that's just one of my goals for this year that I set for myself, is to try to be more to be more available to live stream, essentially, is what I'm planning on. Usually, I'll be too busy with my tarantula work, Marco, and everybody who's watching this. But it's just the fact that my business is very slow right now, because if you paid attention to how the weather and temperatures and things like that, and the storms that we're facing here in the United States, it's pretty bad on both sides. Because on the eastern side of the United States, where I live, there's like snowstorms, blizzards, and this cold, like all these cold storms that's affecting my my business in a way to where I can't ship out any orders. And then on the other side of the United States, you have what I would say wildfires and basically a lot of the things like that. And because of that, a lot of my orders that I've gotten from my customers, I cannot send anything out to them because the weather is just terrible right now. So one order, it was going to go up towards New York and New Jersey for one of my business orders. But what ended up happening was that due to the extreme snow and blizzards and storms, pretty much every single parcel and delivery service has been delayed. So I'm not shipping any orders out, so I'm holding that all back until the weather gets warmer or more ideal for shipping. And then for the West Coast, I cannot ship anything out there because currently, after the whole bushfires and the whole natural fires disaster and whatnot, a lot of people got displaced. So a couple of my customers that did order from me, I cannot ship out anything to them because I have nowhere to ship to, because the fires have either affected or impacted their homes in some form or fashion. Maybe checking Tarantula streaming like before. I don't mind doing more Tarantula streams in the future, but it's just that, like, I don't really have anything interesting to do besides feeding baby tarantulas. And while I don't mind feeding baby tarantulas, a lot of them are very microscopic to where you can't really see them. So even if I would like to stream myself feeding some baby tarantulas, they're going to be so small that essentially you can't really see, you really won't be able to see them with this, with this webcam here, because they're just too tiny. Sadly, they're less than a centimeter, so they're very tiny. So I just want people to understand that. I could be feeding larger tarantulas, but my larger tarantulas, I really only feed them about once every 2 weeks to once every month. And the bad thing is that a lot of my tarantulas, in terms of tarantula sizes, a lot of them are on the smaller side, because a lot of my bigger tarantulas I've either sold, gave away, or I'm currently holding onto people's orders. And I will talk about that on a video today, once I post that video on my Laxo channel, discussing about where I've been and what I've been doing for my tarantula business, and why I have not been breeding or buying any more tarantulas. And it's really because I have to basically move out my current inventory to make space, because right now I have a lot of baby tarantula slings that will take up more space as they grow. So I can't really afford to buy more tarantulas. And it's not because of money-wise, but it's more so of just space-wise. And that's basically all there is in terms of my tarantula work. And honestly, it's very straightforward. I don't really need much explanations going on, but I will explain it today on my Laxo channel once I post that video, that is. It should be about 9 minutes long. Really just me showing some tarantula molt updates, and basically just feeding some stuff, maybe, and, updates. And that's currently where I am right now in terms of like my tarantula work and what I've been doing. It's nothing crazy, but it's just not anything overly interesting as well. And I'll be honest, actually, it's kind of frustrating because I'm selling tarantulas, but I'm still stuck with those tarantulas. So I have 4, 6, let's say a few tarantulas that's still being on hold because of how bad this weather has been. Because if I ship out tarantulas in this weather, they will 100% not make it. Like, they will definitely perish. Like, they will die during the shipping process because it's too cold. I do have heating packs and things like that, but I will explain why like I can't use too many heating packs, and basically explain the technicalities of how to ship tarantulas and things like that on my Laxo channel once I post that video. But it's very confusing, I'll tell you that. And it's also kind of worrying because this is basically the first time I've ever experienced like the most drastic and most severe like weather patterns on both sides of the United States, both on the east side and on the west side. So yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I haven't really been talking about the tarantula stuff, is because nothing has been happening that is significant to talk about. Besides the weather and delays and me holding people's orders, I'm basically taking care of people's tarantulas until it's safe for them to go out. I will be shipping some next week, so that'll be interesting. But I'm still trying to get rid of more tarantulas to make space. So like all these right behind me here, those stacks there behind me, I'm trying to move those out as well. Those are all juvenile tarantulas that I'm selling for around $30. Their monster trophy is about $40. And I think, I don't know, maybe I'll do like a bundle sale to move those out. But that's currently all I'm doing. But I hope that explains some things, because I'm going to explain it anyways on my Laxo channel. Because some people thought like I ran away or something, or that like I'm trying to pull a fast one to scam people. No, I'm not scamming people. It's just that I've been busy with taxes and holding people's orders. So it's like there's really nothing to hide, because I'm just being as transparent as I can be. So that's the reason why, you know, do you have more spiders now? The answer is both yes and no. So allow me to explain. In terms of my personal collection of spiders to myself that I own, no, I do not have as much. But in terms of overall how many spiders I have, like I have more, essentially. Like I have more spiders now, but a lot of these spiders I have now is not for me personally, but it's for my business. So basically a lot of what I have will not stay in my collection. They're going out to customers or will be for sale at some point. So yeah, I wouldn't really say I have more tarantulas now, Marco. It's more so I have more tarantulas for sale, but not for myself in my own collection personally. I've actually sold away even more tarantulas from my personal collection to make space for inventory. And I will state this again, like how I stated in the past. There's only really two ways that I will stop selling tarantulas. Is if one, a new business opportunity opens up. So, like for example, if I have to move to another place because I have like an acting job or a new career, or like a electrician career or something like that, then maybe I'll think about retiring Laxo Legacy, my company with tarantulas. And then the second thing that happens that will make me step back from tarantulas is if I get married. But that will not happen for a long time. So basically what I'm saying is that unless a new career path opens to where I have to move, I don't really think that like I will stop doing the spider work behind me. But we'll just kind of have to wait and see, because at this point, I'm at a point in my life where I've peaked with my tarantula stuff. You have to remember, I've been doing this for over a decade now. So I do teach a lot of new people coming into this tarantula hobby, by the way. So it doesn't. So this, it's funny to say this, but this tarantula business and tarantula hobby, it's not really about how old you are, but how much you know, how much experience you have, and the overall package. So unlike a lot of people, like a lot of new tarantula breeders are in their late 30s or like they're in their 50s. And I'm here in my mid-20s essentially. So it is pretty interesting when you have people that are twice your age learning from you. But really, I don't really care about age. It's just that I've been blessed to where I started young, to where like I've gotten a head start over most people who are coming into tarantulas. So a lot of people do look up to me, and I still do give advice and teach and give out free tarantulas to people who are coming into tarantula breeding. And it's not because I do it because like I tell people they owe me. That's not where I'm going. That's not where I'm trying to go for. It's more so of me giving back to my community to support this tarantula hobby and the spider hobby in general. Because like I don't have anything else to prove, you know? So I'm not as hungry as I once was from way back when. Because I've done it all at this point. Like for those who are... So a lot of you may not be as well versed as in spiders as I am, but over the span of over 10 years of me dedicating myself to this hobby, I've bred a lot of tarantulas, I've produced a lot of tarantulas, I've sold a bunch of tarantulas, I've met people from literally all over this country, and some people, you know, overseas. We talked already, you know, like I have a proven history. Like, my work speaks for itself. I don't have to tell people, you know. And that is my legacy as Laxo, the one of the OGs, one of the new OGs, one of the long-time establishing hobbyists of this tarantula hobby. I know a lot of people know me as Kumo Sensei, but in the tarantula hobby, my name is Laxo, which a lot of people will either have heard of me or may know me to some extent. It's very interesting, honestly. I don't want to say I'm famous in the tarantula hobby. I'm not famous at all. But if you know about me, you will know my contributions to this tarantula hobby. Meaning, essentially, I've already made it to where, like, I don't have to grind as hard as most people. Because, one, I had a head start. And two, I have, like, I don't need to prove anything because I've already proven myself. Like, that's why I don't really say much. Like, I don't like to brag, by the way. So, yeah. Pretty interesting, my legacy on this tarantula hobby. It's like, I don't know, man. It feels so strange once you reach my level of, like, expert level, that is. Because I'll say this. Once you reach this position of where people are looking up to you as like a figure, but also looking up to you for advice, experience, expertise, and your overall knowledge, it becomes very strange. Because I never once in my life like focused on like what people will think about me and what I will do. It's more so of I was just really good at what I do, and I just happened to have created a legacy without expecting it or knowing it. It's only when I truly look back that I recognize that, oh my god, I'm the real deal, huh? So I'm very confident on a lot of my things that I do in terms of my spider work, because that confidence comes from experience and the overall knowledge. So to a lot of you young folks out there who are thinking about getting into the tarantula hobby, you will at some point run across my works or my contributions. It's pretty funny. Like on this channel, the Kumo Sensei, you just see me as like a normal guy who's just chilling, that does a lot. But then once you jump into like the tarantula hobby and you start keeping tarantulas, you'll eventually run into the name Laxo or Liquifin, and you'll understand that, oh my god, this guy is the Kumo Sensei. He's been around for a while. Oh wow. And then you'll start to learn my contributions. It's pretty interesting, honestly. It's like, I don't want to say I'm like an A-list celebrity when it comes to tarantula hobby. That's not what I'm saying. It's more so of like, if you know me, you know me. Like, you will at some point hear about me. Or probably will run into my works. Because a lot of my information that I've dedicated into this hobby is still around to a certain degree when it comes to arachnids and tarantulas. I am not a scientist or an arachnologist. I am just a guy who likes to take care of tarantulas. Like, I can tell you like some of my dedications to this hobby, which is pretty interesting to some people, I guess. And some people do mistake in some of my credibility, because like one example that a lot of people do get twisted on is my dedication to the Barrelistus variatus. So if you don't know the tarantula, I mean the spider hobby, there's a huntsman spider called the Barrelistus variatus. Also, that's the scientific name, but the common name was called the Variatus spotted huntsman spider. So about 6 years ago, yeah, it's 6 years ago now. So 6 years ago, the Barrelistus variatus did not have a common name. It was just called the Barrelistus variatus. And basically there was no care information on how to take care of this this unique huntsman spider. So I was fortunate enough to actually acquire a female Barrelistus variatus. And I've kept it for a few months, and she look, this female spider already had an egg sac, but in terms of care, there was no care guides on how to take care of this this huntsman spider species. So I've written down the care guide, and I did my research, I did my care, and I hashed out 4 successful egg sacs. It was pretty nice, honestly. One female, she laid 4 egg sacs total, all 4 of them thrived. So I've written down the care sheet, the care guide, and at this point of time in 2019, even though they have entered the hobby already for this huntsman spider species, there was no common name. So let's put into this perspective. The scientific name for humans is Homo sapiens, but our common name is humans. Tarantula, same thing for spiders. So the scientific name for the spider was Barrelistus variatus. The common name, it didn't have one. So because of that, I decided to give it a common name, Variatus spotted huntsman spider. So okay, let me actually pull it up real quick for you guys. Barrelistus. Hold up. Variatus. Okay. Let's actually... Hold up. I want to pull it up for you guys. Oops. Alrighty. Let me... move this. Okay. Sorry guys, I need to move my stream here. Alrighty. So this right here is the Barrelistus variatus. So, for those who are wondering, this right here, Barrelistus variatus Karen knows. So, this is kind of funny because this is actually my care guide here. So this is basically my contributions to this hobby. So if you look at even the Facebook pages, Barrelistus variatus, the Variatus spotted huntsman spider, a huntsman originating out of Africa. So for those who are not familiar with my contributions to this hobby, back then it was only called Barrelistus variatus. There was no common name. So I gave it the common name Variatus spotted huntsman spider. And now it's basically everywhere. And when you Google the species, by the way, my care guide that I made 6 years ago is one of the first care guides to pop up. It's basically the first care guide that does pop up. So this is actually one of my contributions to this hobby. It's not a tarantula species by any means, but it is a spider species nonetheless. I am not an arachnologist, but I was just a guy who was just caring for spiders, and then I made my contributions through my experience, discussing the things that went right, the things that went wrong, and basically my overall experience on raising the species. So that's pretty much like a huge... so that is like a flex without me flexing. As a matter of fact, if you go on Google Images, and hold up, where is it at? Right here. This Google image right here is actually mine. So this right here is actually my photo that I put on that I put on the internet. One of the first images that pop up. That is very interesting if you ask me. I do have another photo on Google here somewhere. Right here. This photo here is also mine. Hope you guys can actually see that. So this photo here is actually my photo. So this Barrelosis varianus, you see this X-act here and all these babies around it? This photo here was mine that I posted on the internet. So I was very fortunate enough to actually help out a lot of the newer spider hobbyists, the spider keepers. So like all these pictures that you're seeing here of the Barrelosis variatus, these all came after mine. So this is from Fear Not Tarantulas. Shout out to them, by the way. Great tarantula company. So like a lot of people hello there, John. So a lot of people that are coming into tarantulas, my disappointment went pretty well. But this is my dedication to this the spider and arachnid hobby, though. I am the real deal. My name Liquifin or Laxo on the internet has dedicated a lot to this hobby. So I don't really need to flex because my work speaks for itself. Chris, thank you for your contribution, sir. Oh yeah, no problem. Did anyone ask you on what part of life was the hardest before being successful? The hardest part about success is that there are no shortcuts. Literally. You have to take your time, and you have to find the right people at the right time. Because this hobby, so when it comes to tarantulas, and for anybody who wants to become like a big figure in this tarantula hobby, the thing you need to understand is this. There is barely any luck involved in terms of taking care of tarantulas or becoming a tarantula expert, quote unquote. I don't consider myself an expert because you're always going to be learning something new, and information will get updated and it will change over time. But essentially, though, to get to this caliber of like being known to some extent, it's going to take a few years. Literally, you need to dedicate the years into what you want to do, and then you need to get lucky. Put it that way. I think the best way to put it is this: you need a lot of skill to acquire luck if you want to dedicate something into this hobby. But I was blessed, and yes, I did develop this this care guide here. So if you look at here, it's posted by a user named Liquifin. This user is me, by the way. This is me. This is my dedication to this hobby. So, as you can see, this is where the name Variatus Spotted Huntsman Spider came in. Because before the name Variatus Spotted Huntsman Spider, the only name that this was going by was Barrelosis Variatus. So what I've done... So for those who don't know what common names are, I will explain it again. Us humans are called humans. That is our common name. But scientifically, our scientific names for us human species is Homo sapiens, Homo sapiens. So, humans is the simpler term to go by. And there was none for this species. So I just made Variatus Spotted Huntsman Spider. And then here's me documenting all the exacts here, the temperatures, and everything. So, this picture here is basically all the babies from one exact. As you can see, if you zoom in here, their babies are on the side here on these little vials. These are my pictures, by the way. And then here's the mom with the babies. And then here's the original photo when I first got them. And then here are the notes on the exacts. So the first one was hashed in September 13th. And then the second one was, you know, yeah. And then here are some more babies here eating some fruit flies. Were they fast? Yes, they were super fast as babies. And see, this is... And then this is when people came in for their input as well. And then she did lay a fifth exact here, which I forgot about. And till this day, this, like, it's pretty funny though. Until this day, that is basically one of my contributions to this arachnid hobby. I do have another contribution as well. Hold up, let me show you. Orphnaceus species Kizon blue. Okay, let me. So this right here is another one of my contributions to this hobby. The Orphnaceus species Kizon blue, or also known as the Kizon blue earth tiger. So I want to get this out of the way real quick. I did not produce the first exact here in the United States, but I did produce some of the first ones though. I wasn't the first person, but I was one of the earlier peoples to produce some of the first exacts here in the United States. And it's funny because my images is right here. This picture right here is my picture. If you Google like this species here, the Orphnaceus species Kizon blue, this image here is mine. Yep. So some of the first few Google images that ever appeared on Google for this species was mine. As a matter of fact, hold up, another one of mine did pop up on here, right here. This picture here is also mine. So I did here it is. So this was the first recorded documentations of the species for this video right here, the Laxo channel. And funny enough, I think I was the first person to actually show the first recorded documentation of breeding the species in captivity. So this is when I first paired them, and then this video here was when I actually basically rehoused all the babies, because, you know, so I did have some of the first few videos of basically documentation of producing the species in captivity. It's pretty nice, honestly. I don't do it to flex. I just do it to be transparent, you know, for those who are wondering. And some people have used my images over time as well. So if you look at this video here, this thumbnail of this image here, that is my my picture that this person used for their YouTube video. So some of my images have been used by other tarantula hobbyists and other tarantula businesses worldwide. So it's pretty interesting, honestly. I believe one of my images was used in Japan for my Theraphosa blondie, my Goliath bird eater tarantulas. Some businesses has also used some of my other images, for example, you know. So like people still, so like it's pretty interesting, honestly. But that is my history of like my tarantula dedication. So, for those who are wondering, you may be asking, when will I quit my tarantula journey, or when will I retire? And I've said this before, and I'll say this again. There's only two ways I will step back from my contributions to the tarantula hobby. One is if a new career path opens up, or two, I get married. These are basically the only two ways that I see myself stepping back from doing my tarantula work. So, it's a very interesting field, put it that way. But I've dedicated a lot. Hiroshi Kamiya's 50th birthday. Hey, shout out to Hiroshi, by the way. Really great voice actor. It's kind of funny because I only know him, like, I mainly know him as the medicine seller in anime, but for those who are watching, now you know who I am. I am kind of, I don't want to say I'm famous, but I'm very well known, I guess. Some people don't like me in this tarantula hobby, for clarification, because they don't like my approach to the tarantula hobby. But people don't deny my contributions as well, because I went out and I did the work. Doing the work is the most important thing if you're trying to build a name for yourself. You have to put in the work and time and be transparent, period. If you failed at something, do not hide it. Just tell people you failed. Even if you go to my Laxo YouTube channel, you'll see I have a lot of failures and a lot of successes. This is the thing that people need to accept. It's the fact that, like, you're going to have failures and successes, but you need to learn how to accept them both, you know, and learn from them both, whether you succeed or fail. But that is one of the reasons why I became well known, though. It's because one, my contributions and the work speaks for itself. Two, I am very nice to the new generation. I do not berate the crap out of them. And I want people to understand that. So, like, to the new tarantula breeders, even if you watch my videos on my Laxo channel, where I tell people about tarantulas and things like that, I don't set extremely high standards, because, let's be honest, a lot of the old school tarantula breeders, basically a lot of the big tarantula breeders, they do not like the new generation. Because succeeding is very difficult nowadays. So a lot of the new, younger people, they try to actually ride the coattails and basically try to ride off on, like, other people's work. So, like, a lot of the new tarantula breeders they're not really respected, put it that way. But for me, even though I'm at this point considered an OG now, or somebody who's been around for a long time, an old school person, I'm actually more lax and more chill than most other tarantula breeders. Because, like, the future of this tarantula hobby and the future of our work is really reliant on the people who's going to come in. So, like, I don't really intimidate people, but I do want to tell people the truth as well about what they're getting into. But now you know who I am, though. I am Laxo, aka Licklefin, one of the few great tarantula breeders that exist. But I guess here on this channel, I'm just a regular guy who's just very chill, I guess. Yeah, I'm just a regular guy on this channel. But once you get into the tarantula stuff, you'll definitely run into my works, or my contributions, because I left it all behind for you guys. It's really just up to you, the future, to decide whether you want to take it or leave it. I really don't care, because my story is my story, yours will be yours, you know? So I really don't understand why people are trying to chase after my legacy, my contributions, or my work. Because what I've done was basically something I did for my time. But I'm just like that, though. Yeah, everybody, man, I keep telling people, I am like, I was basically like a prodigy, essentially, because I started young. It's much harder nowadays for a lot of people to get by or to start because the competition is too high. But I always tell the young people, be smart, work hard, and always be asking questions. Because like, really, better to get answers to your questions than to leave them open and never solve them. But that's really all about the spider work, I guess, for those who are wondering. In terms of my dentist stuff, it went pretty well. Next week on Monday, I gotta go pick up my new dentures. I mean, not my dentures, but my new retainers for my teeth. It's gonna be really fun. That's like an hour. Ooh, that's like an hour drive. That's a very long drive, honestly. Driving out of town again, that gas price is gonna go up more. It's gonna be very interesting. But I really do love tarantulas. But I will not lie. I think I should be very transparent about this. Like, literally. I do not mind stepping back away from tarantulas at this point. Because I don't have anything else left to prove. Like, my time was my time, but like, I really don't, I don't know how to explain it. I really don't have anything else to do or to prove, so I'm just kind of just like enjoying the soft retirement. But at some point though, I am like, I'm really just thinking about retiring from tarantulas at some point. Not a complete retirement, but like a soft retirement. Because like literally, guys and gals and everyone, she, they, them, and everyone who's watching, I've come so far to the point where like I'm literally at the edge of what I can do. It's kind of like, it's kind of monotonous at this point. Like, I know what I'm doing. I still love tarantulas, but I don't get the same excitement as when I first started, like over a decade ago, when I was still like a young, up and coming senior high school student and things like that. It was different back then than it is now. It took a long time for this career to pay off. And man, history speaks for itself. I'll say that. I feel so proud of my work now that I look back on it. But I'm going to say this, and I'll say this outright. I never once in my life expected it to pay out the way it did. Because when you're building a career, you never really look back on it until like you actually made it to a certain extent. It took me about 7 years for me to actually recognize my contributions to this hobby. And when I look back on it now, everybody's chasing after me because you never pay attention. Or you cutesy wootsy back then? Jaw, you're funny. No, I was not. I was very shy back then, but also very collective. Like, I rather let the work. So here's how I was back then, actually. So I was always, so like by the time I started my tarantula journey, I was always a guy that always had to I just kept on going because I wanted to prove myself that I'm worth something. And I really was just chasing after one of my dreams, which was a love for animals. So I never really had time to take breaks to like really like sit down and look back on it. It was more so of like, I did this today, good. I'll go to sleep, I'll wake up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta do this for today to get ready for that tomorrow. And I was on a grinding mindset, but not like in the grind mindset. It was more like a grinding mindset of just trying to improve myself, essentially. I was not, I wish I was cutesy wootsy back then, but it just wasn't me though. It was just very, I don't want to say difficult, but it was very consuming, essentially. The fear of like not doing well and the fear of disappointing. So I just kept on going. Because, like, I don't know. People, I wasn't motivated. I'll be lying if I said I was motivated every single day to actually do my work and pay myself out. Because you have to remember, when I started Tarantulas, I was more still of a chill person when it comes to like everything else, you know? So I had to split my time between teaching myself how to dance, because this is before I was a competitive dancer, by the way, and then spider work, and then just trying to think of the future, because this is before stage acting came into place, and this is a little bit before I started training in my early teens. So it was so my head was all over the place essentially, because I wanted to do so many things. So like I had a very tight idea, like a very tight schedule basically on my youth, because I was very hard on myself. And then at night, before I go to at night, around when I say night, I mean around 6 to 8 p.m. So in the afternoon, essentially, I used that time to watch anime. And then once that 1 to 2 hours were up, I just went and did my work. I put in the time. And that's basically how I got to where I am now. I didn't really speak much because I really just wanted because here's the thing. I'm not much of a talker when it comes to things back then, because I wanted my work to speak for itself. Because I'd rather show you than to tell you. So that's the way I am. Because I don't really, if you talk big, you better back that up. Period. So, that was the hard thing, honestly. Especially for, this does not go for my spider work. This goes for everything I've done up to this point. Training, dancing, spider work, acting. I let the work speak for itself. I will show you. I will not tell you. Because I feel if I just tell you all the time, it becomes kind of annoying. I'm trying to show you that I'm better than everybody else. So my approach was I'm just going to show you guys. Just I don't want to say much, So I was that quiet kid who was always sitting down, zoned in on trying to figure out what he wanted to do in life. But I was not really your average teenager, because it was just so strange. Very strange. But that's really all I gotta say about my youth, though. It was really just because I was just chasing and keeping that promise of just fulfilling it, of trying to become a better person. Yeah, Hiroshi Kamiya, man. Really great voice actor, by the way. I have a lot of favorite voice actors, by the way. Now that I think about it, I need to go check on my voice acting stuff real quick. I don't think I've gotten any roles, sadly, but I need to submit more later anyways. Still looking. Still auditioning. And I'm just hoping, I get a role of some kind. Because, I have fingers crossed. But I think Monogatari was his big role. I would not say that now, honestly. Hiroshi Kamiya, he's been in a lot of anime works already. Hold up, let's Google. Hold on, let's go to his myanimelist.com or myanimelist.net. Because I'm pretty sure he was Hiroshi Kamiya, this guy was already voicing a lot of big animes before then. Hold up, let me move this over here real quick. Literally, hold up, okay. This guy has been voicing, this guy has been in anime for a very long time, dude. Because I'm sure he was before the Monogatari series. Because, The thing is that I don't remember him, like, I mean, I don't remember, like, him being known for Monogatari. Because this guy's been around for so long. 1988 is where it started. Okay, but... And then, yeah, he was voicing a bunch of side characters up into the 2000s. It was really around this era here. The 2004-5 era is when he started to blow up, so let's go up there. He voiced Hojo in Gantz? Huh? I didn't know that. I'm talking about the OG Gantz here. But this is the era when he really took off, though. I'm just scrolling here because I just want to confirm 2004, 2009-ish. I'm just trying to look at like significant roles of characters I recognize. So he did voice a Setsubo Sensei. So he voiced the he voiced the MC here. Yeah, but count how much time he spends as a role, not where. Well, it's not really a fair comparison though, because like he voiced so many characters on and off. You get to remember, like anime back then, it took like you basically never got a second season though. So like some animes, like you want to get a second season until like 8 years later. So like in terms of counting how much time you spend as a role, it would depend. But like I'll give him credit for Araragi, okay? I'll give him credit for that for sure. But I'm sure that he had like way more right here. Orihara Izaya. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so this is the... Okay, so I was a little bit off. So this is the era where I noticed him from, though. The 2010 early eras here. Like, literally. This is literally when I started to notice his work. Because, like a year before that, he, like... Monogatari came out 2009, right? That was 1 year before Durara. So, like, okay, we're in the same time period, essentially. Okay, so I'm not off now. I know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, you're kind of right, though, Marco. I give you credit for that. I still haven't seen it yet, because, like, I've been slacking on the animes, man. I really just want to watch the things I enjoy, or, like, that's coming out as it goes. But it's very interesting, though. I recommended 2 years ago. You still haven't watched it yet, Sensei. I'm just not feeling like... I'm just not feeling it yet, you know? But if I feel it, definitely go check it out at some point. Hiroshi Kamiya's voice hasn't changed. That is actually the surprising thing. A lot of people don't recognize this, but voice actors, their vocal cords will age. This is something every voice actor will have to accept. Like at some point it will peak, and then at some point your voice acting range will start going down, because as you get older, your muscles soften out, so your vocal cords will start to give out, you know? So to see Hiroshi Kamiya, you know, him and his voice still going pretty strong, it's a blessing, honestly. You have to train your vocal cords, period, if you're coming into voice acting, because it will wear out with age. I think one great example is Kevin Conroy, the guy who voices the Batman. Like, he's still... Rest in peace, by the way, but... Even, like, he was a great voice actor as Batman, but you can notice that as he got older, you know, his voice was kicking in of age. Matthew Mercer is an OG. He doesn't get enough credit, I'll tell you that. But he's a voice actor that is here and there. But I do like Matthew Mercer a lot, though. Yeah, Hiroshi does, he does voice Levi. Which is the funny part, because, like, nobody really cares about voice actors, or directors, or producers like I do. But I pay attention. But it's just so funny to me how like people notice, like, oh, is that guy? He's the guy who voiced this character, and he also voiced this character in the anime, but they don't know they don't know their names. I think one great example is Bakugo, the Japanese dub, or the Japanese the Japanese voice actor for Bakugo. He voices Accelerator from the Index series, and people still don't know who he is, you know? Or like the voice of Gintama, you know, Tomokazu Sugita, they still don't know that he's basically the voice of Sakamoto from Sakamoto Days, you know? Like it's just so strange to me how like people can identify the voice, but they don't know the voice actor. It's just so strange, you know? It's kind of like saying, I know it's a fish, but I don't know what kind of fish it is, you know? Well, someday people will care more about voice actors, producers, and things like that. It's just that I happen to be an actor, which is why my interest in like the backstage of how things are produced is more analytical than most people. Most people just want to watch anime and talk about it. I like to look interior-wise on see who's doing what. So that way I know we're getting a good anime episode instead of something trash. Because you have to understand, in anime, sometimes like each episode may go through a different producer. So like if you watch an anime and you notice that like one episode is dog shit, or like if it's not good, it's probably because there's another producer involved, or they swap out the staff on certain episodes, so that way they don't get burned out. So I really do hope that people understand that sometimes when an anime gets worse, I'm not saying it's always the producer's fault, but someone behind the staff has either got changed or they just got burned out. People think that like animators are overworked, that's why quality drops over time. But sometimes, while that is true for sure, I'm not going to deny that. Like a lot of the times, it's usually bad because the producers don't know how to direct, scenes or how to execute scenes. And we've seen it get trashed on so many times. I think one great example, this is a biased take, I think one great example of this, of where like, I wouldn't really necessarily blame the animators, but I would blame the staff and producers to an extent, is Tokyo Ghoul. I love Tokyo Ghoul, but even I will admit that like, whoever was in charge, they really changed what it was from the source material. So, I might sound biased, but I'm not necessarily wrong all the way. And this is no disrespect to Studio Pierrot. Studio Pierrot is known for changing the source material when it comes to adapting from an anime. It just keeps happening, man. Well, it's funny because for the 10th anniversary, I was praying for a Tokyo Ghoul anime remake, but instead we just get like a special, like a cute little special, some announcements, some new merch, a rebroadcasting season 1 again on TV. But it was just so. I promise you, if Tokyo Ghoul got a remake, nobody will complain. I stand by that till this day. I really do stand by that. If Tokyo Ghoul got a remake, it will hold up so much better. But this time I will choose, but they should let me choose the production team, because I would choose really good people. No disrespect to the people at Studio Pierrot. It's just so bizarre, honestly, of anime adaptations nowadays. Like people will always be blaming the anime studio, but sometimes it is more specific than that, you know? I do blame the anime studio at times, but really it depends on who's behind doing all the work. But back to what I'm saying though, Hiroshi Kamiya though, he's a really great voice actor though. I'm just surprised he's not retired yet. But then again though, I'm not his agency, because I don't know what agency he's in. So I don't remember, by the way, because he did switch agencies a very, 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 very long time ago. He's been in 1 or 2 agencies, or has he only been in 1? I don't really know. So for those who are not familiar with voice acting, In Japan, for voice actors, usually you have to join an agency because basically, once you get into an agency as a voice actor, whatever agency you're signed to, that will help you get like voice casting roles, or they'll basically give you recommendations on like characters in anime that you will probably be interested in, or roles that will fit you as a voice actor, which is different from how it works here in the United States. In the United States, you don't really have an agency. You're basically on your own. You can't hire an agent, and there are definitely agencies here in the United States, but they're very, very small and very, very specific in comparison to Japan. So, like, a lot of people, they create their own websites to advertise themselves, or they had to get lucky, essentially, is what I'm saying. So, like, so voice acting here in the West, not just in America, but in Europe, Canada, in Australia, for example, you know, our voice acting paths is completely different from that of Japan's. So, like, I'd say 99% of all voice actors, if not 100% of those voice actors in Japan, they're really good voice actors. And the reason why they're really good is because they're in an agency. And those agencies are finding good good characters within a voice. But here in the United States, you're basically mostly a 1 to 2 person team, maybe a 5-person team at most. If like you can hire somebody like an agent to find and book roles for you. I do not have an agent, by the way. I can't even afford an agent, so I had to do the old school style of like auditioning for a lot of small indie projects, and then slowly start building that up to where like I catch a producer's attention for an anime, I guess, to voice an English dub. And that's really how a lot of people get started, by the way, in the Western countries. So for Europe, Canada, America, Australia, that's how we have to approach it. It's going to take more time, obviously, but that's just how it works. Because I see a lot of people look at like voice actors in Japan, like Aoi Yuki or Ria Takahashi, or like all these famous Japanese voice actors and actresses. All of them are in agencies. Period. That's how they got into voice acting. Whether it's Naoto Oyama or Kiyono Yasuno, like all of them they're all signed under an agency. And god dang, sometimes I really do wish I was signed under an agency, but it's just that would never happen. And if I did get signed into an agency, it is going to be hell. It is hard. Allow me to explain how agencies work. So one agency in Japan has like over 100 to 200 voice actors and actresses in it. So like everybody, so in a way, you're fighting against other people in your agency for a voice acting role. Voice acting in Japan is so competitive. I would even say it's more competitive than it is here in the Western countries. But I speak from experience, though. And basically from what I've learned so far. But that makes me even more excited, actually. Oops. As like a voice actor. Because I really just want to see what I can do, you know? I don't hate voice acting, but I just really want to see how well I'll do in terms of competitiveness. Because that's really the part that really makes me want to do more voice acting. Because I'll tell you, not all voice actors come from voice acting. Everybody comes from a different field of voice acting. I mean, a different field of acting in general. So, like, that's the thing that you have to understand. Some voice actors and voice actresses, they come from either TV shows, they come from being a radio host, a podcast host, or like an acting, or like from an acting gig. And then they just happen to have stumbled into voice acting to get started. So for me personally, if I had to tell you my story, if I ever do make it as a voice actor, I did not start off with voice acting at all. I started off with stage acting. And then I just happened to have jumped into voice acting. And basically, that's how I'm here today, talking about voice actors and actresses. Like, I was already aware of the voice acting industry, honestly, even before I started my voice acting journey, trying to get a voice acting role. So like I'm already well versed, but not really well versed. It's just an interesting experience. I'm learning as I go, put it simply. But one day, I keep telling myself one day. I even say it on Discord sometimes too, whenever John posts like a fact about somebody's birthday or something. I always tell myself that someday I'm gonna be on equal with the voice actors that I've been chasing. Or like the English dub wise. Because I really just wanna, like, I don't want to show up and be like, hey, I'm your biggest fan. No, I want to show up and be like, hey, what's up, buddy? You know, like co-workers, you know? Like, on equals. Oh, man. I have so much people I really want to chase after. Like, really. It's going to be so... Like a breather, if I ever do make it. I'm just praying for my time to come, honestly. I don't know how long it'll take. It may take a long time. It may not. But I'm just super happy and super excited that I got it started on this journey. And I know that some people might think it's not worth it. Honestly, if I'm being honest, the payout is not good. But it's really the fact that it's a passion dream of mine. So at the moment I kick down this career, once it gets started officially, maybe I might consider stepping back from my Tarantula work to pursue this hobby. Well, this career, that is. Excuse myself. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying I'm going to quit Tarantulas. I'm just saying that I might step back from it to start pursuing more into voice acting. But it's kind of scary, I'm not going to lie. But I'm also super excited, though. I just hope that everybody, like, supports it, you know? Because it is kind of scary, everybody. I'm not going to lie. Like, starting voice acting on my own. Kind of figuring out as I go. I'm not saying that I'm a terrible voice actor because I've already come from an acting background. All I'm saying is that, like, I'm just not sure what I'm just not sure what to expect. And man, I think I mentioned I talked about this on my stream. I mean, not on my stream, but on my last push-up video from yesterday that some of my voice acting videos, they got copyright ID claimed. Which was kind of infuriating, honestly, because I don't own those videos anymore. Which is frustrating. So for those who don't know, a content ID claim is essentially when you use audio or footage of somebody else that belongs to somebody else, and it gets claimed. And basically, once it gets claimed, it basically means that you don't own your video anymore. It belongs to the person because you basically stole their content, essentially, to use it in your video. So typically, it's not a big deal because usually, like, they don't really do anything to my videos. But there's this Korean, I don't speak or read Korean, but this is this Korean company that basically copyright ID claims some of my videos, my voice acting videos. So I had to actually private them because they basically cut off the audio of the video itself, which is kind of infuriating. So you don't hear any voice acting for certain segments, which ruins the video completely. And I'm just hoping that, like, in the future, I don't get any more copyright ID claims, because it just, like, usually it's not a big deal, but it's just this specific Korean company that keeps cutting the audio off. It's just a headache to me, man. And I don't like privating videos, but in this case I have to, because, like, it's basically not a voice acting video anymore, because, like, the audio is muted. Because I don't have control over my own videos, because it got copyright ID claimed. So, like, if you're watching this, just a heads up, if a lot of voice acting videos, if they get claimed, or if, like, they start getting blocked or something, it's not because of me, it's most likely because they got copyright ID claimed. Usually, it's not a big deal, but it's just certain companies that get very nitpicky about it, which drives me nuts. Like, I forgot, I was going to mention this earlier on my live stream, but I'm just mentioning this now because all of my videos that have gotten a content ID claim are just my voice acting videos. So, like, the push-up videos are fine. Everything else, the vlogging, like the vlog videos are fine. It's just the voice acting videos that are getting this annoying copyright ID claim. It's just making It's just giving me a headache. You can actually dispute it, but do not do it, because you will usually lose if you're a small YouTuber. I think one great example, I actually did try to dispute one of my videos in the past. This is 2.5 years ago now. And what ended up happening was I lost that dispute and my channel got a copyright strike. That was my first ever copyright strike and I was just not happy. So I'm not going to try again. So I'd rather just private or delete those videos. So that way it doesn't get claimed by like other companies and things like that. But yeah, everybody. This is a relatively short stream. I'm just here chilling, I guess, because I just got off a dentist appointment earlier this morning. And I'm just super tired. Put it that way. I do got to go back to the dentist to go get my new retainers on Monday morning. So that's going to be fun. And I may live stream later tonight, actually, if I get super bored. Or tomorrow night. Either tonight or tomorrow night. One of those two. Most likely it's going to be tomorrow night because I work a morning shift tomorrow. But I guess I'll call this a live stream for today. So, without further ado, everybody, thanks for watching. And yeah, it was nice talking to everybody. And with that, that's really about it. See you.